Something a little bit early here on QVC2. Like I said, we usually launch our QVC2 Big Deal at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It is 10 minutes of 8, like we are 13 minutes of 8. We're not even close. But I'm glad that we're seeing this because we had this as a QVC2 Big Deal before, and it was very, very popular. But this is your first look right now before the day begins at 9 p.m. 6 easy payments for you to bring this home, and 2 different weights, because I'm not so sure that the original came in a choice of weight. So we will explain that to you in a moment. 2 different colors to choose from: the gray that you see right over here, or the beautiful taupe. So both of these will work out very, very well with whatever your decor, your sleeping arrangements are. And it's a company called BlanQuil. So it's a blanket that can help to make you feel more tranquil when you're laying underneath it. It's H217795. Here's the value, because you can go to the BlanQuil website and find this for $169. But right here we have the 2 different weights, and we'll explain what would be the best choice for whom. The 15-pound weight blanket is $122.20, significantly less than the $169. The 20-pound weight, $127.20. But we have this, like everything else in this 3-hour show, on 6 easy payments of $20.37 a month. And I got to introduce you to our special guest. We have Amy Scaglione joining us, and she brings all kinds of great ideas for our home. I am familiar with this weighted blanket concept.
Because of your hubby, right?
My husband was very interested in this idea when it was brand new on the market, and we have one, but he spent more money on his than the price that we have here today. But what I love about it is that we're introducing this as almost like a therapy blanket in a way to a whole range of people that may never even have heard of this concept before.
Indeed, because really weighted blankets have been out there for quite some time, but I often liken it to going to your dermatologist. There was a time when you couldn't get certain hyaluronic acids or certain things in a face cream. You would go to your dermatologist for it, and over time we were able to use them in our own home. And the idea of a weighted blanket began to move into our ability to enjoy them in our own home. Is there a way to harness the ability to rest maybe a little more sound? Or I'm not a napper. Is there a way to help me ease into napping? And that's why people really fall in love with BlanQuil and the idea of a weighted blanket.
Yeah, exactly. So we have 2 different weights to choose from. We have the 15-pound and the 20-pound. So who would the 15-pound be recommended for?
Right, so what we're going to show you in a moment is a chart, and this is just the idea of if you're between around 99 to 149 pounds, we would say the 15-pound blanket. And then if you're above that, between 150 and 200, we'd say 20 pounds. But I want to say that this is a chart that we loosely recommend. In other words, if you're stepping into this, I would say maybe start with 15 pounds, because I think that's like a nice, happy medium. And the funniest comment we'll get is the first time people hold them, they'll say, well, this is heavy.
Yeah, it's like a cinder block, but you're not holding it
when
like
you first
this.
Open your box.
You're spreading it out.
And also keeping in mind that it's evenly distributed over the whole body, and that's where we get that deep, even pressure that we enjoy and helps us move into that state of relaxation. So my advice is always, if you're on the fence, I would err maybe with a 15-pound.
I agree. If it's a gift and you're not sure, go for the
15-pound. Exactly. So again, this is just a loose recommendation. It's not a size chart like a clothing chart. If you're a size 4, stick to a size 4. But that's kind of how we work on the recommendation of a 15 or a 20 pound.
So this is how I would kind of explain this. For me, you know, when my husband told me about this concept a year ago when he had discovered it, I was like, I don't get it. Why would you want to have a weighted blanket? But when I finally started doing some of the research into it, there's so many reasons. It's almost like having a hug. There's a safety and security. There's a reason that, you know, animals like to crawl into little caves. We feel very safe when we're in our own
Well, we say we're
zone.
Cocooning in. Like one of the biggest things that you'll hear people say when they're starting a new home is, I want to cocoon in. I want to, you know, settle into my home. We're living in a time, especially right now, where I think we're all feeling a little taxed, a little overwhelmed.
A little.
Right? Our home is our sanctuary. It should be. It should should be the place where we can rest and we find respite. And I think sometimes we need a signal. We need a little something to ease us into that state of mind. For me, it's I lay down on my yoga mat and then I take out my BlanQuil. I have a few candles going and I nap with mine. Some people love the idea, like we're seeing here in the video, of napping. Maybe this is your go-to on a Saturday afternoon and you put earbuds in and you pull your BlanQuil up over your easy chair. We're going to see John on the set shortly. Or maybe at night. This is something that you plan to sleep with all night. It's designed for one person. If you co-sleep, I like the idea of either your blanket or your comforter and then laying your BlanQuil over the top.
That's what my husband did with his.
That
he
what
had
you
his
did?
on his side of the bed, yes.
Okay, terrific. And so when you get it home, I'm suggesting that you play with it a little bit. What we're looking at now is they're showing you the ties. There's 6 ties in total, 2 at the top, 2 on either side, and 2 on the bottom. And I'm going to show you that up close too, Sharon, so you get a good idea. Because actually what's in front of me is the BlanQuil itself. And this is what we're really talking about when we talk about a weighted blanket. So I'll get into the BlanQuil and I'll get into what the BlanQuil is filled with in just a moment. But while I have the actual cover in front of me, I want to show you.
Yes.
You and I both have ours in the cover.
We do.
Okay, so let me show you what that is exactly. So I say, think of a duvet cover on your bed. If you have a comforter with your duvet cover, this is just a cover that we've given you as an add-on. It may add a little warmth if you want that in the fall and winter. It's a beautiful plush microfiber, or it may add that extra layer that you like, but you can certainly take it off because the BlanQuil is housed on the inside. It's a dyed to match zipper. So once you unzip that, you're gonna find in the corners the ties. There's 1 here, another on the other corner, 2 on the sides, and 2 on the bottom. When you tie it, you want to make sure the ties are secure, and then you're going to zip it shut. And I always recommend, because a question was, oh, if it moves around or does it shift?
Right.
My suggestion is always grab it from the sides, sort of grip it so that you know you have the BlanQuil and you have the cover.
Yes.
And then, pull it up on you.
Yes.
Or shift it around. So just really, if you're moving it upstairs, drape it over an arm, things like that until you get used to the weight of it.
So a couple of questions already coming
good,
in
okay.
on Facebook, because again, we are streaming live on my Facebook page, and this is highly unusual that we are previewing a QVC 2 big deal before 9 p.m. Eastern. So this is a hugely special opportunity for you to take a look at this in either the gray or the taupe. But that one question that we have that rolled in is, because we had a chart that we popped up. It's not a size chart, it's just an overall recommendation. The question was, if I am 150 pounds, which weight of blanket should I go for? Because that's right on the cusp.
Right. So here's where we get into what do I personally like, right? So everything, the way our bodies react, the way our minds react to things vary, right? So this is recommended based on, around 8 to 15% of your body weight. That's how these sizes were determined. My recommendation would be to you, if you're just trying this for the first time, I think I would start with the 15-pound. Also, I would say, if you have any upper body issues, let's say you have some dexterity issues, or let's say that you struggle with lifting things, feel free to start with that 15-pound, I think, because again, people are very surprised if they've never lifted what is equivalent of 15 pounds or 20 pounds. It's a bit of a surprise. But what happens is when we spread that out over the entire body, we just give this sort of comforting, even distributed weight across us, and it feels fantastic.
You know what? This is so weird because people ask me, like, do you ever sneeze or cough on TV? Do you ever yawn? I never yawn. I'm always on point. And as you were talking right now, I could feel a yawn almost starting to come on. And I'm literally just sitting here relaxing with this on only half of my body. But I had experience from the one that my husband got, the whole concept of doing this. And I have to tell you, there's something that you can't even really put into words about how secure and relaxed and nurtured and comfortable. There's something very deeply rooted that's psychological about this, about having just a little bit of extra weight. There's a reason they have those little thunder shirts or whatever for dogs. Well, it's a little bit of being wrapped up for that extra security. That's right. It's like you're being hugged by your blanket. Not just the blanket is sitting there, but you're being hugged by your blanket.
Yeah, and there's also just some, think about when you go to bed at night, the first thing we do, whether it's hot outside or cold outside, we like the feeling of something on us in a sense as well. The first time I experienced it, my sons got me a facial for Mother's Day one year, and when she left the room, she put a weighted blanket on me.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't even know what she'd done really. And when she left the room, I thought, okay, gave it a try. Pretty soon I'm starting to get
sleepy.
Yes. So you're going to have different experiences with it. Well, I have this on my lap, Sharon.
Yes.
I wanted to show you the inside of the BlanQuil, and then I want to show you John, who had the same experience as you. He had it on for about 2 minutes. He's in the recliner, and I went over about 10 minutes later. I said, John, how long did it take you to start to feel? And he goes, well, I started to feel pretty relaxed in about 2 minutes. So when I lift my BlanQuil, I want to make sure I'm getting the cover, and I'm also getting the BlanQuil on the inside if I'm moving and shifting it. That can help when you're talking about moving the cover.
And by the way, the whole thing is 48 by 74 inches. So if you're laying this on your bed, even if you're just putting it on your half of a king or a California king size bed, there's plenty.
Right, exactly. And the other thing is, you know, I find when we move over to Angela, or, you know, well, we're seeing Angela now, we can see that she's laying in a standard size bed and it's covering her perfectly. She can decide to use it more like a lap blanket. She could cover it from clear up under her neck all the way down to her toes and have no trouble. Angela, how tall are you? And Angela's 5'9", so it's covering her beautifully. And there she goes, good night.
Good night, goodbye. So we have the two colors to choose from. We have the gray and we have the taupe. And so here's another question that came in from Facebook, from QVC.com. Is this breathable for year-round use? I think some of the questions that are rolling around are, if it's weighted, does that mean it's automatically hot?
Right, exactly. So before I get to this step, then I'm going to answer that question. And this is a good time to do that because I'm actually holding the BlanQuil itself. This is a cotton BlanQuil. So what you're seeing on the exterior is cotton, and what you're seeing on the interior, you can't see what's on the interior, is actually a very soft fill. And then that's also the beads that give it the weight. So the fill and the beads are in each one of these little square, we call them baffle boxes.
Yes.
Those are hand sewn and hand placed inside.
So that helps to keep everything in its own box so it doesn't just land on one side of the blanket.
So it's almost like each one of those baffle boxes are their own little BlanQuil, right? And then they're evenly distributed. So as I'm holding this, I don't want you to look at this while you're sitting at home watching us thinking, oh, that looks like a nice little soft comforter that doesn't weigh much. This is taking me, I feel like I'm lifting.
Is that the 15-pound one?
This is the 15-pound one. So this is with the cover off. And to address the question that we had, this is the BlanQuil itself, and I'm going to set that down. When the BlanQuil is inside the cover, which you're sitting under.
And I'm apologizing, I haven't moved at all since this entire presentation started because I am way too comfortable right now.
That's all right. And then I'm underneath the gray choice, and this is with the cover on. So let's explain it like this. If you were to pick up a microfiber blanket, or you were perhaps to pick up a mid-weight throw, it feels about like that, right? So the weighted blanket is on the inside and the throw is just a slight extra layer of warmth. If you don't want the warmth, you can take it off. The cover is machine washable. The BlanQuil itself is spot clean. But I have heard a variety of things from people. In the dead of summer, if you're under a comforter and you're under your BlanQuil, you're probably going to be warm. If it's winter and you place your BlanQuil over a light blanket or your comforter, your comforter, you should be quite comfortable. But again, the cover is removable, so if you find you don't want it on there, you can certainly take it off.
So I just need to let you know the value here is terrific because you could go to the BlanQuil website and find these blankets for $169, and we have a much better price. $122.20 for the 15-pound choice, $127.20 for the 20-pound choice, and then we've got those 6 easy payments of either around $20 or $21 a month in order to bring this home. You're not even supposed to have access to this yet. We were not originally going to present it until we kicked it off at 9 p.m. Eastern with Amy Strand, but somehow we've finagled a little
Girl, we were
look
not.
for
I was scrambling to get my son to hockey, and I said, "Oh my gosh, I need to be here earlier today." So yes, this was it.
So that we can chat about this amazing blanket, because you know what? If you talked about the world of napping, I wish I had had access to this when I worked overnights. And I had to nap in the middle of the day because I was not a napper. I was told, my parents always said to me, like, you shouldn't be napping in the daytime. This would have helped me to nap in the daytime a little bit better. Very similar to the idea if you have a pet and you hold your pet on your lap, how you get very relaxed from that weight of that little body. That's what I do with my Fozzie Bear, my dog. He's 15 years old. He still relaxes me when I have him on my lap. You hold your child or your grandchildren on your lap. It's a relaxing feeling. This provides that same kind of psychological security.
Evenly distributed. So if John decided he wants to have his hands free to do reading or to listen to music, by the way, John makes the most amazing jam. He gave me some tonight. He's also a
Really?
chef. Yes, indeed.
Wait, what?
Yes. It's right over there. He also makes jam.
I need to learn about these canning techniques.
That's right. We're going to tell you about it after, right?
That's awesome.
So if John is not canning and he's actually reading a book and he's under